Objective of the week. Simplifies radical expressions using laws of radicals. Simplifying radical expressions. We are going to discuss first about simplifying radicals yung bawal lumabas. Or, a radical is in its simplest form if the radicand does not contain a perfect square, cube, or nth power. Example, number 1. The radicand does not contain a perfect square, cube, or nth power. Example, square root of 2. Square root of 2 is not a perfect square. Therefore, square root of 2 is bawal lumabas. And also, square root of 2 is not exact. It's irrational. Another, cube root of a square. A square is a perfect square, but not a perfect cube. Again, cube root of a square is not exact. It's irrational. A radical is in its simplest form if there is no fraction in the radicand or no radical sign in the denominator. Number 2. Example, square root of 3 over 2. The 2 here is not radical. Therefore, this is already in simplest form. And then the square root of 3 here is bawal lumabas because 3 is not perfect square. Another, square root of 5. Square root of 5 does not have a denominator, and 5 is not a perfect square. A radical is in its simplest form if the index of the radical is the lowest possible index. For example, square root of 2, cube root of 8. So these are the possible lowest index for 2 and 8. You have to simplify radicals with number 1, a perfect nth factor. Number 2, a fraction, radicand, or denominator. Number 3, a reducible index. Now we are going to simplify radicals, yung bawal lumabas, yung pwedeng lumabas. So ito po yung mga pwedeng lumabas. Let's simplify the following. Using this law, nth root of a to the nth power is equivalent to a. It means na kapag multiple ng exponent yung index, is pwede natin ilabas yung ating radicand na a. Example, square root of 16. So the factor of 16 is 4 times 4, or that is equivalent to 4 square. And 2 here is multiple of square, or 2 here. So we can cancel. We can get the answer, which is positive and negative 4. So 16 is pwede siyang lumabas, and our answer is positive, negative 4. Another, which is pwedeng lumabas, all you have to do is to divide the exponent into the index because the exponent here is divisible by the index. And we have here variable a. First, write down the variable a, then divide. 9 divided by 3, the answer is 3. Therefore, the simplified form of this example is a cube. Let's simplify the following. Cube root of 125. And we all know that 125 has a factor of 5 times 5 times 5. Or in exponential form, we have 5 cubed. Since the exponent here is a multiple of the index, pwedeng lumabas yung 5. So the answer is positive and negative. Another, 4 is multiple of 2. Write down the variable x. 4 divided by 2 The answer is 2 or x squared. So, we are done with bawal lumabas and then yung mga pwedeng lumabas. Number 3, kailangan mag-comply para makalabas. So, kailangan yung i-memorize itong mga perfect square, perfect cube, perfect fourth power, and power, and so on. So, ito yung mga basic na kailangan. Ito yung mga example ng perfect square number. So, kapag square root yung ating given, sila yung mga pwedeng ilabas. So, kapag cube root, ito yung mga perfect cube na pwedeng maging factor para pwedeng ilabas yung radical nyo. Ito naman, perfect fourth root. Ayan. So, pwede siyang ilabas yung mga yan. So, simplifying radicals by reducing the radicand. So, i-reduce natin dito yung radicand by getting the perfect cube, perfect nth factor of the radicand. So, yan. Gagawin, i-factor natin siya. Ito yung gagawin natin. Pwede natin siyang i-factor. So, equivalent naman siya dito sa product. For example, square root of 12. Square root of 12 is not perfect square number, but 12 has a factor of 4 and 2, which is perfect square yung 4. So, i-factor natin siya, square root of 4 times square root of 2. So, yung square root of 4, ang exponential form niya is 2 square. Then, copy natin yung square root of 2. Since ang 2 ay divisible sa ating index na 2, pwede nating ilabas yung 2. So, the final answer is 2. Then, copyhin natin tong square root of 2. And don't forget to write positive and negative kasi ito ay numerical values. Next, cube root of 81. So, yung 81 po is galing siya sa 9 times 9. Pero, ang 9 times 9 ay hindi pa perfect cube. So, i-factor pa natin yung 9 times 9. So, yung 9 ay galing din sa 3 times 3. Yung isang 9 ay galing din sa 3 times 3. So, kukuha tayo ng tatlo, 3, kasi ito yung perfect cube factor ng 81. So, let's write down cube root of, ihiwalay na natin itong tatlong 3, cube root of 3 cube. Tapos yung isa times cube root of 3. So, eto, 3 divided by 3 is 1. So, pwede na natin ilabas yung isang 3 dito. So, positive, negative, 3. Then, copy itong natira. Kasi yung 3, bawal ilabas. Kasi yung 1 ay mas mababa kaysa sa index na 3. So, the answer is positive, negative 3 cube root of 3. So, yan po na yung simplified form ng cube root of 81. Another, fourth root of 32, x to the 7th power. So, let's factor 32. Okay, 32 is came from the factor of 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then yung x to the 7th power, copy na lang natin. Okay. So, kailangan natin ng perfect fourth power dito sa 2. So, ilabas natin tong, or ihiwalay natin tong apat nito. So, we have here fourth root of 2 to the fourth power times yung natira, fourth root of 2. Then yung x to the 7th, fourth root of x to the 7th power. So, etong 2 to the 4th power, pwede siyang ilabas. So, 2 na lang siya. Next, eto maiiwan siya sa loob kasi yung 2, hindi na siya perfect fourth power. Next, etong x to the 7 power, 7 divided by 4, the answer is 1. So, meron tayong isang x. And then yung sobra, 3. So, iiwan natin yung exponent na 3. Since yung 3 ay less than 4, ito na yung final answer. Okay, another 72m to the 7th power and to the 4th power, p. So, now get the factor of 72. That is 8 times 9. So, i-factor natin yung 8. So, that is 4 times 2. Yung 9 naman, 3 times 3. So, isulat natin yung factor dito. Square root of 4 times 2. Yung 9, pwede na rin natin siyang isulat kasi perfect sum yun. Kahit wag na yung 3. That is 9. Then m to the 7th power, n to the 4th, then p. Alright. So, dito, yung mga perfect square number, kasi square root to, ito yung 4 and yung 9. So, pwede natin ilabas yung 4 and 9. So, pag nilabas natin yung 4 tsaka 9, so that is 2 sa 4, and then yung 9, magiging 3. Next. Okay, yung 2, maiiwan sa loob, bawal pong lumabas. Ay, yung m to the 7th, 7 divided by 2, ang sagot po ay 3. Sorry. This is alright. So we have here m raised to 7 divided by 2, we have 3. Then meron tayong sobra na 1. Imaginary 1. Next, yung n to the 4th power, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So, n square. So, pwede ding ilabas yung n to the 4th power. The next, yung p is maiiwan sa loob. Kasi yung 1 is less than the exponent or the index, which is 2. Next, let's simplify. So, we have here 2 times 3. The answer is 6. M cubed, n square, then square root of 2mp. This is our final answer. Okay, another. Okay, 5 times 4th root of 48, a to the 4th, b to the 10th power, then c to the 5th power. So we have here 5 yung nasa labas. So yung kailangan na lang nating ilabas dito is yung 48 kung meron man siyang perfect 4th root factor. A to the 4th, 4 ay divisible by 4. 10 is greater than 4, pwedeng ilabas, pero may sobra. Ito rin, pwedeng ilabas, may sobra nga lang sa 4. So, let's factor 48. So, yung 48 has a factor of 6 times 8. Okay, next, ang 6 ay 2 times 3. Ang 8 po ay galing sa 2 times 2 times 2. So, meron tayo ditong 4 na 2. So, we have 2 to the 4th and then merong isang 3. So, isulat natin yan. Lagay natin yung 5 and then 4th. Then, yung factor ng 48 ay 2 to the 4th times 3. So, next. Okay, so ilabas na natin yung mga pwedeng ilabas. So, we have 5. Kaya 2 to the 4th, 4 divided by 4. So, magiging 2 na lang siya. 2 to the 1 power or 2. So, wala na to 2 to the 4th. Next. Yung 3, maiiwan siya sa loob. Kasi yung 3 ay hindi naman perfect 4th power. Next, a to the 4th power. Okay, 4 divided by 4 ay 1. So, a na lang. So, wala na rin yung a to the 4th power dito na ilabas na at walang sobra. Yung b to the 10th power, so, pwede siyang i-divide sa 4. Yun nga lang may sobra. Ilang 4 meron sa 10? So, we have 2. At may sobra na 2. Next, c to the 5th. Pwedeng ilabas yung c kasi may isang 4 sa 5. So, pwedeng ilabas yung c. Okay, so c na lang. Then, may matitirang isang c sa so, i-simplify natin yung ating answer. So, 5 times 2, 10. Then, a, b square, c, 4th root of 3b square, c. So, ito na yung ating final answer. Tapos na tayo sa bawal lumabas, pwedeng lumabas, kailangan mag-comply para lumabas. Ngayon, kailangan mag-comply pero bawal pa rin lumabas. So, paano siya? So, ito yung reducing the index to the lowest possible order. So, i-reduce lang natin siya. Pag sinabing reduce, maglo-lowest term lang po tayo. For example, yung 8th root of 6. Okay, kung gagawin natin siyang rational exponential form, that is a raised to 6 over 8. Okay. So, based sa fraction, kailangan nating gumamit ng GCF para ma-lowest term yung numerator and denominator. So, yung 6 and 8, meron tayong GCF na 2. So, pwede siyang i-divide both sides by 2. So, 6 divided by 2, that is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So, ibig sabihin, kapag naka-rational exponential form siya, ito yung naka-reduced form niya, a raised to 3 to the 4th power. So, paano kapag naka-radicand? Or naka-radical form siya, ganun din po, hahanapin nyo lang din po yung GCF nila. So, yung GCF ng 8 and 6 ay 2. So, instead na 8 divided by 2, magiging 4th root na lang siya. And then yung a to the 6, yung 6 divided by 2. So, yung 6 magiging 3 na lang. So, ito na yung naka-reduced form na siya. Ito na yung lowest possible index or order. Another, 4th root of 25. So, tingnan natin ano ba yung exponential form ng 25. So, yung 25 ay galing sa factor na 5 times 5. Ang exponential form ng 5 times 5 ay 5 square. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung index na 4 tsaka yung exponent na 2 ay divisible parehas sa 2. So, pwede natin siyang i-divide sa 2. So, 4 divided by 2 is square na lang. Then, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Or imaginary 1 na lang. So, square root of 5 na lang siya. Another, 6th root of 27, n cube, n cube. Yung 27, ang factor niya po ay 9 times 3. Yung 9, may factor na 3 times 3. Therefore, yung 27 ay galing sa 3 times 3 times 3. Ito po yun. Okay, or tatlong 3 means 3 cube. So, ito na ilalagay natin instead of 27. We have 6th root of 3 cube, m cube, then n cube. Since lahat sila ay multiple ng 3, at yung 6 ay multiple din ng 3, so pwede natin silang lahat i-divide sa 3. So, 6 divided by 3, so we have cube root. Then, 3 divide 3, 3 raised to 1 or 3 na lang. M divide 3, 3 divide 3, M na lang, then N na lang din. So, eto na yung final answer. Pero tandaan nyo, hindi pwedeng isa lang yung i-divide nyo dito sa tatlong to. Halimbawa, etong dalawa lang yung i-divide nyo, hindi to kasali, bawal yun. Dapat lahat silang tatlo pag mag-reduce kayo. Now, let's move on to rationalizing the denominator. So, bawal pong meron tayong fraction sa loob ng radical symbol. So, kapag mag-rationalize tayo ng denominator, i-consider natin dito yung index. For example, this is square. And then, yung ating denominator na 2, paano siya magiging perfect square? You have to think of a number kung saan tayo mag-multiply kay both numerator and denominator para maging perfect square yung 2. So, yung 2, hindi siya kasali sa hanin ng perfect square. But if you're going to multiply that into itself, magiging perfect square na siya. So, kapag nang-multiply ka sa baba, dapat ganun din sa taas. Kasi itong pang-rationalize natin, dapat equivalent po yan sa 1 para hindi maapektuhan yung value ng ating given. So, square root of 2 divided by square root of 2, i-multiply natin sa square root of 3 over 2. Next, let's multiply square root of 3 times square root of 2. Another square root of 2 times square root of 2. So, 3 times 2, square root of 6. Square root of 2 times square root of 2, the answer is 2 square or 4. Next, 2 divided by 2, since it is multiple of 2, so pwedeng ilabas yung 2. So, the answer is positive negative square root of 6 over 2. So, ito na yung reduced form or simplified form ng square root of 3 over 2 by rationalizing the denominator. Another example, so bawal rin po ang may radical sa denominator. Maliban sa bawal ang fraction sa loob ng radical sign, so bawal din po magkaroon ng denominator na radical. So example, cube root of b. So you have to focus here in cube root of 3. So paano magiging perfect cube yung b, which is meron siyang imaginary 1 na exponent. So applying the product of powers, ina-add lang naman natin yung exponent ng mga polynomial or ng variable para makuha yung kanilang product. So, meron na tayo ditong 1. So, yung kulang na lang para maging cube, para mag-match siya dito, is 2 or square. So, kung ano yung imumultiply mo sa baba, ganun din sa taas. Dapat same to palagi. Alright? So, i-check natin. 1 plus 2 is 3. Dapat ganun po yung lalabas. So, now let's multiply. So, cube root of a square. So, just copy cube root a square. So, bawal mong i-add yung exponent nilang dalawa kasi magkaibang variable yan. Another. So, add the exponent, imaginary 1 here, into 2. So, we have cube root of b cube. So, perfect cube na yung b. Pwede na natin siyang ilabas. So, sa taas, walang pwedeng ilabas kasi pareha silang less than yung exponent nila sa ating index na 3. So, we have cube root of a square, so a square, and then b square. So, dito yung b, pwede na siya. Ito na yung final answer. Okay, another. We have 6 fourth root of 3 divided by fourth root of 2. So, focus tayo dito sa fourth root of 2. Okay, yung 2 ay hindi perfect fourth power. So, kailangan natin siyang gawing perfect. So, maglalagay muna tayo dito ng fourth power. So, multiply ito. Yan, times siya. So, meron mang imaginary 1 na exponent yung 2. Ang kulang na lang para maging 4 siya ay 3. Kasi 3 plus 1, ang sagot ay 1. So, ito yung multiply sa baba, ganun din dapat sa taas. So, yung multiply na natin yung 6, copy, then fourth root of 2 times 2 cube. Ang 2 cube po ay 8. So, 3 times 8, the answer is 24. Next. Okay, so we have fourth root of 2. 1 plus 3, the answer is 4. So, pwede na siyang i-cancel kasi 4 divided 4 is 1 or 2. Raised to 1 na lang siya or 2. Sa taas, walang pwedeng ilabas. So, we have here 2. Next, etong 6 and 2, pwede pa siyang i-divide. So, 6 divided by 2, the answer is 3. Fourth root of 24. So, eto na yung final natin. Next, magre-rationalize tayo ng denominator pero binomial na po siya. So, when we say binomial, sineseparate siya ng plus or minus symbol. So, gagamit na tayo dito ng tinatawag na conjugate. So, when we say conjugate, kung ano yung opposite ng plus, yun yung gagamitin natin which is minus. Kung minus ang given, ang gagamitin natin is yung plus. So, for example, 3 plus square root of 2. Ang conjugate ng 3 plus square root of 2 is 3 minus square root of 2. Another, square root of 5 minus square root of 2. Since minus ang given, ang conjugate niyan ay ganun din, given lang yung square root of 5 tsaka square root of 2. Then from minus, ang gagamitin natin is plus. Now, we're going to rationalize the denominator to 3 over 2 minus square root of 3. Since binomial to, tandaan nyo, kapag binomial yung given, gagamit tayo ng conjugate ng ating denominator. So, the conjugate of 2 minus square root of 3 is 2 plus square root of 3. So, kung ano yung imumultiply sa baba, ganun din sa taas. Bakit conjugate yung gagamitin? Kasi gagamitin natin yung konsepto ng sum and difference. Yung pagmumultiply ng mga polynomial. Binomial to binomial, then sum and difference. Sa sum and difference, just square the first term and square the last term, then use the negative or minus sign. So, etong nasa taas, just distribute 3 times 2 plus square root of 3. Next, sa baba, first term, multiply sa first term. Kasi yung middle term nito ay 0, kaya hindi na siya kailangang isulat. So, 2 times 2, the answer is 4. Next, yung minus and negative times positive, that is negative. Then, square root of 3 times square root of 3, that is square root of 3 square. Okay, next, let's simplify. 3 times 2, the answer is 6. 3 times square root of 3, bawal nyo i-multiply yung 3 sa square root of 3 kasi nasa loob yung 3. Maliban na lang kung meron ditong number sa labas ng 3. So, imumultiply mo lang yung 3 sa imaginary 1 ng 3. So, 6 plus 3, square root of 3. Next, sa baba. Okay, square root of 3 square. So, eto, may 2 dito. Pwede siyang ilabas yung ating 3. So, we have 4 minus 3. Alright, next. Etong 6 and 3, bawal mo siyang i-plus kasi yung 3 may kasamang square root of 3, pero yung 6 ay single number lang. So, bawal mo siyang i-plus dito. Eto, pwedeng i-minus. 6 plus 3, square root of 3, over 4 minus 3, the answer is 1. Or simply, 6 plus 3, square root of 3, wala na yung 1. So, eto na lang yung final answer. So, do you have any questions or clarification? Please feel free to contact me through FB or Messenger. Thank you for listening.